Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan. Vince, today we're going to be talking about the Ninja Turtles.
That's right.
Somebody sent us a question, and I really apologize because I've lost the question. I thought we had it written down. It was in my notes. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, I'm sorry.
You get credit, it's just we don't have your name.
Yeah, anyway.
Comment and let us know who you are.
It must have been one of those things where I forgot to copy it and I thought I had, but anyway, I remembered it. And so anyway, feel free to tell us who you are. I'm sorry I did that. But the question was, what kind of tone do you prefer for Ninja Turtles? Do you think the Ninja Turtles should be silly, funny? Do you think that they should be more serious, more dark and brooding? As time has gone on, and I'm fascinated by this phenomenon, because the Ninja Turtles, when I was a kid, always felt like they were one thing, you know? And as time has gone on, we've seen a lot of different interpretations of the Ninja Turtles, and I'm surprised by how many it turns out that there have been.
If you're interested to see how many, go look at Turtles Forever.
Turtles Forever, yeah, which people have been requesting on Rewind of late, and I'm hoping to do that sometime soon, because I miss doing the Ninja Turtles movies, and I've done them all, and so now I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll do Turtles Forever sometime.
Turtles!
But anyway, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about tone for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Vince, first off, let's just do this, because this will help throughout our views right away. What is your favorite incarnation of the Ninja Turtles?
I'm going to get a little bit of flack for this, but I like the new series, not the fast forward or whatever it's called. I like the
one that started in 03.
Yeah, I like that series. It's really clever, and it's close enough to the original stuff, but it's not as bizarre as some of the original stuff. I don't know. I'm not explaining that well, but we'll get to it. What's your favorite?
I'm gonna go with the original movie. Live action movie.
So hard.
Over that series, I think. And yeah, it's tough. But I think the problem is that is a lot of what I liked about that series was that it felt like it was borrowing a lot from the movie, and so at least in tone, where it was going okay. We're an animated show. We can do some fun, goofy cartoon stuff, but overall, we're taking ourselves pretty seriously, and I really dig that about it. Which I feel bad about, because when I did my rewind on it, I only gave it a 2.5 because I had some story issues with it. And,
which means it's slightly above average.
Yeah, and as time has gone on, I've thought better about that, and I should have given it a 3. I really do think that if there are two or three movies that if I could, I would change my scores, and that's one of them. I would move it to a 3. And not just because a whole bunch of people commented and they were like, "What?" When I posted it, I felt weird about it. I wasn't sure if the score was right. But anyway, so I felt like I had to say that because it is my favorite, and yet I gave it such a low score. But yeah, that movie has such an ambiance to it. Like it is such a perfect mix of just I mean, the idea of the Ninja Turtles is silly. It was supposed to be, and that's what's great about it.
It was supposed to be bizarre. If you look at some of the original concept art, whoa, they weren't even close to what they ended up being.
And that movie takes itself so seriously. I mean, like, it plays itself so straight. That's what I loved about it.
You know, I think there's sort of this trend in comedy where people take themselves super seriously, but they're incredibly ineffectual. And I think that, one of the cool things about the 80s is that these characters took themselves seriously, but they were incredibly effectual. They had the ability to just kick some butt and take some names. Mm-hmm. And so then you get things like Tango and Cash and Commando, and well, Big Trouble in Little China's not a shining example, but it's still hilarious. Anyway, and then what you have is ripe for comedy, because it's going to be witty about itself. It's going to be tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
And it's the problem that I get with some of these series is that they don't understand how the Turtles are funny. They're like, oh, the Turtles are funny because, well, they're, a bunch of walking, talking turtles, and they're going to be wisecracking the whole time. And that's a problem for me. I can't get into the original cartoon series anymore. It's ruined it for me to go back and watch it from, when I was a child it was big, but now I just can't watch it. Granted, you have a different interpretation.
I still can, yeah. Well, and here's the thing, okay? My interpretation about the original cartoon, and actually, let me first say that I agree with you. I actually do agree with you. I can put that aside personally, just because of the few things that I love about it. But the problem with that show, if you're gonna watch it now, is that it had a problem that a lot of '80s cartoons had, which was we take a motif and we just never let it rest. You know, it's like it's you know, it's funny because we keep saying pizza over and over again. You know, it's like I don't get it. Like I don't know why that's funny. And we're like we have to have these pizza motifs all the time. But anyway, I could see I understood why the newer cartoon series never did pizza. That it never came up. They never even brought it up. They made a big deal out of it. We're not going to have pizza in the series. We're just not even going to do it. Or I don't know if it would be unfair to say that they never did it, but like I know that initially the premise was let's not even make a big deal out of pizza. We're not even going to. But
you guys eat pizza? Doesn't everybody?
The cartoon show. It's not Ninja Turtles for me. It's the Shredder and Krang show, and if Shredder and Krang are not in it, it's not a good episode. That's what I've discovered. Going back and rewatching some of it because I bought my wife a few seasons of it for a birthday couple a couple years back, or for Christmas, I forget. Because Sarah still loves it, and so I bought her some of it, and I bought her some of the seasons in the middle because it's one of the shows that I think got a little bit more fun, a little bit more clever after they got some seasons behind them, and so once you get into like 4, 5, and 6, like that's when it's really funny because at that point they're just doing whatever silly bizarre idea comes to mind, and they're not worried about ratings because everyone's watching it. So now they can really just go off the hilt and do whatever they want to, you know. And I loved all the silly breaking the fourth wall stuff Shredder and Krang does because the show just doesn't care. It just doesn't care, and you can tell that those actors playing Shredder and Krang just freaking loved doing those voices.
You know, eventually the show dramatically switched tones. The original cartoon show.
It did.
And I remember as a kid starting to enjoy it more. And like the Turtles started mutating more. It got darker. They changed the theme song to be a little bit more 90s edgy.
That was the last season. That was all awful, actually.
And I don't remember if it's good or not. I just remember liking it. But see, that's what I'm saying is that I went back and watched the stuff from that stuff, and I'm like, now I hate it. I can't stand it, and I really don't want to go back and watch that stuff because if I watch the last season and it's awful, I'm gonna just, you know, it's gonna crush part of my childhood. But so what's interesting to me is I feel like they're starting to move towards the okay, I'll say it this way. There's a reason why the '03 Ninja Turtles cartoon show is the sort of grounded center for Turtles Forever. And,
yeah, sure.
And I mean, sure, it's the most recent, and of course that's the one they're going to use. But it's like the great compromise between all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, if you're going to have some of the high-flying stuff that you do from the original comics, or if you want to have some sort of real-life grounded situation that you do from the movies, well, as grounded as you can make for Walking, Talking Turtles, but that is the perfect show to do it. They have the Utroms, they have the the Triceratons, so they have all the space, and then they have all the Earth, and it's just it's the perfect compromise to me. Now, that being said, Turtles the movie, I think, is just like, if I ever had another movie, that's what I'd want. But I think we have good examples. I think we have the Turtles the movie. That's the tone that you'd want a live action movie to have. I mean, kids wouldn't necessarily be disappointed by what's there, but this ain't no cartoon is part of the advertising that they use for that show, or for the movie. And in fact, I had a film teacher who said he used to run when that movie came out, he was running a cinema, and he says he just couldn't watch it, literally, because it was so dark on screen.
Oh, weird. So, weird. Yeah, that's interesting. And it's too bad that it didn't stay that way. You know, that when they did the sequel, they felt like they had to make it more kid friendly because parents complained and stuff. Because it was for some different audiences, you know, and it was I mean, I was kind of impressed that it managed to be as all inclusive as it was, you know. But let me ask you this question. Because I have a bit of a theory about the original comics. I love the original comics, especially that first 10, 12 issues. But I think that it makes sense that it had a hard time sustaining that, because you notice that after a while they kept changing the art style, they kept changing the mood of it, and I think a lot of the reason that we have all these different kinds of on-screen versions of the Turtles is because they couldn't decide what it was in the comics. Yeah. But they had it right the first time, and my question to you is, do you think that original story was so good and so engaging, they just couldn't top it, so they kept trying to change the tone?
You know, I think that's a possibility. That's one of the things that I found interesting about the comics is that eventually they started retconning things or just offering like alternate turtle universes, and
exactly.
And they not only changed the art but they changed the backstory, and I read certain things and like, this is not the traditional Michelangelo. There are things where they don't have masks, they walk around, the fact that their ninjas aren't even important to the story, and they just get really, like, sometimes it's really existential, and sometimes it's kind of artsy-fartsy. But I suppose maybe that's inherent in being existential. Anyway.
Well, I felt like what the original comics really got right was this perfect balance between it's a gritty, edgy story about ninjas fighting an evil ninja master, and also dealing with, you know, looking different from everyone else and trying to figure out how they're gonna, you know, how they're gonna live in the world that way. But also being just a parody of comics and superheroes, because that was the point of it in the first place. It's what it was. It was, I mean, like it took itself seriously, but the people making it didn't, you know. And I love that about it. But I think I gotta say this real quick. I think part of the problem is that in the serious Turtles. Now look, I love Krang. Okay, I do. In the cartoon, Krang's hilarious. But in serious Turtles, there's never been. I don't think, and maybe I don't know enough, maybe somebody can throw something out there, there's never been a villain that even comes close to being as interesting as the Shredder. Ever. I mean, like, and I think part of the problem is that Ninja Turtles doesn't have a rogues gallery.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the problem with sustaining the tone, yeah, but you see what I'm saying? I mean, they do. I mean, in the cartoon they certainly did.
Yeah.
But again, like you're saying you didn't even care for the cartoon. Like I guess we could have gotten like a really serious Rat King, or we could have gotten like a really serious Krang. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like,
I think we did get the serious Rat King. I mean,
did we wear
the
again? Maybe I just don't know enough.
The new cartoon series.
Did they do Rat King?
They did. I think they did the Rat King.
See, I only got a couple seasons in. Because when they were doing the interpretation of the comic book stories, that's when I thought it was at its best. You know, just before they allegedly killed the Shredder off.
Yeah, well,
that's when it was awesome. But
yeah, I mean, I think that they did this interesting molding of Krang and Shredder together, and I was really entertained by that.
Interesting. Yeah, good point.
For those of you who don't know, here's a spoiler warning: Utroms are little brain creatures. They're essentially what Krang is.
Yes.
And Shredder was effectively one of the. He was an Utrom. He wasn't Krang. But they had a great moment where there is.
See, I didn't love that.
See, I was entertained by it. I didn't mind it.
No, okay, all right.
Especially if he's been around for centuries. I'm like, how are you going to explain that away?
That's a good. I forgot about that part. Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
It was all worth it to me, having watched all that stuff when I was a kid. When I saw this little brain creature, one of the Utroms, crawling across the floor, he says, "I hate walking on my tendrils," and one of the other Utroms says, "Oh, shut up, Krang."
Yeah. they made up a Krang. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But yes, so
I guess we're kind of all out of time, Vince.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your last thought?
I don't know if I have one. I think you got to find that balance. I think it has to have some silly in it. I think there's no way around it.
Yeah, but it has to take itself seriously.
It has to take itself seriously, and we have to be able to laugh at it while we're also engaged by the story. The thing is that what's weird about Ninja Turtles is that you can actually tell really engaging stories with it. I mean, yeah, I get the argument that it's not. I mean, it's not high literature. Okay, I mean, I get the argument that. But what that we talk about usually is, right? I mean, like you look at the Ninja Turtles.
So I was thinking about Dickens the other day.
You look at the Ninja Turtles, and those characters are archetypes. I mean, yeah, they are. But if you look at the fact that there are so many different interpretations of it, there are things you can do with those archetypes, And I mean, yeah, I mean, Shredder is your evil ninja master guy who has his big gang of, and so he's an archetype, and Splinter is what's his name from Karate Kid? I mean, Mr. Miyagi. That's an archetype. So anyway,
so I think that since we haven't talked about the new Ninja Turtle series,
IDW. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say this real quick. I think the problem with the new Ninja Turtle series isn't that they're going a little bit beyond their means with the storylines. The problem is that they're asking the audience to take it seriously. The comic is taking itself seriously, but it's asking the audience to take it seriously.
And maybe it's taking itself too seriously.
Yeah. So
it's not a lot of fun. That's the problem. Yeah.
It should not take it. Like, the story should take itself seriously. The writers and the audience and the artists should know that this is kind of a bizarre universe that we're laid in, and I'm not in it for costumes. I'm in it for, cleverness.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, what do you think? What is your favorite tone for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Leave your comments below, and also if there's something you'd like us to talk about in a future video, leave those in the comment box as well. Thanks as always for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince, reminding you to support your local comic book store.
See you next time.